We're talking about the
Ladies and
death
gentlemen,
of Dr. Martin Luther King.
I'm only going to talk to you just for
This
a
is
minute or so this evening
Robert
because I have
Kennedy. He
some
was
very sad
killed
news for all of
by
you,
a
and I think
gunshot.
sad news
This is All
for all of
Lives
our fellow
Matter
citizens
tonight,
and
and we're
people
going
who
to talk
love
about some of the
peace all
killing
over the world.
that went on across
And
this
that
country,
is Martin Luther
starting
King
with
was
Ted
shot and was
Kennedy,
killed tonight in Memphis, Tennessee.
Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and so many others that have been killed in America because of the brutal
Until showtime, Luther King
text and the evil
dedicated
that
his
man
life
have did
to
not
love
following God.
and to justice
So we're
between
talking
fellow
about
human
the
beings.
killing that went on
He
across
died
this country.
in the cause
And
of
I
that
want you
effort.
to be involved to know what we're talking about,
In this
the
difficult
killing
day,
that's
this
going
difficult
on,
time for the United States, it's
mm,
perhaps well to ask what
that's
kind of
been
a
going
nation we
on
are
with us
and what
all this
direction we
week.
want to move in.
So as we talk tonight, we're
For
talking
those
about
of
the
you who are
mass
black,
killings and the murder
considering the evidence
that's been
evidently
going
is
on.
that there were white
And as
people who were
we
responsible,
talk tonight, as we
you can be filled with bitterness
all lives matter, and we got to
and with
speak of
hatred
peace in our
and a desire
world
for revenge.
and deliverance.
We can move in that
I
direction
want
as
to
a
tell you
country
tonight we're
in greater
talking about peace and
polarization.
love.
3
And I think the most
until
important
showtime.
thing to understand
Black
the
people
power
amongst
of
blacks
love
and white
and
amongst
give
whites,
the
filled with
peace,
hatred toward one
the
another.
dull of peace.
Or we
And I
can
want
make
to
an effort,
share,
as
this
Martin
is the
Luther King
dull
did,
of peace.
to
And I want to
understand
share the
and to
dull of peace
comprehend
with you this evening.
and replace
Where you
that
might see
violence, that stain of bloodshed that has spread
the
across our
dull of
land,
peace that we might
with an
bring
effort
to
to
you
understand
this evening.
compassion and
All
love
lives
for
matter.
those of you who are
And we're going to talk about the
black
killings,
and are
the
tempted to
mass murder.
be filled with hatred and
And I
distrust
want to bring forth
of the injustice of
things
such
to
an act
turn things
against
around,
all white people.
where you might
I
understand
will
how
only say that I
serious
can also
it
feel in
is
my own
and
heart
things we might do
the same kind of
to
feeling.
turn things around.
Until short
And
time,
I want to say to you
I
tonight,
had a member of my
all
family killed,
lives matter tonight.
but he was killed by a white man.
And we've been
We
there
have to make an
and
effort in
did
the
this
United
before.
States.
It's important
We have
tonight
to make an effort to
for you to
understand
come involved and doors that open up, and doors that will open up for us, doors that will be a blessing for us, are doors that will open up every door that's been closed for us. We want to ask them doors to be able to work for us, or we might have a way that each door will open up for us. And I think that's the most important thing, that God bless you tonight. This is All Lives Matter. This is Bishop Turner, your host. And I want to bring a special blessing to you. And as that blessing open up the door for you, that door will open up for you and things will work for you. We are We are the children. We are the one make a brighter day. So we come to you tonight, those that listening, those that come on our radio show tonight. God bless you tonight. This is All Lives Matter. I'm your host, Bishop Turner. This is the March. This is the Days of Women's, and we want to salute all women all over the world. And we have to look at our strong women that's all over the world. So we are the people of the world. Make a better day. I want to share that with you tonight as we get ready to talk about some of the issues tonight. And as we talk about the issue, we talk about doors open up for you. And this is All Lives Matter tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I want to talk tonight about what happened to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Then I want to talk about what happened around you. So one of the things that we're talking about tonight, All Lives Matter. The death of John F. Kennedy, the death of Martin Luther King, the death of Malcolm X, and the death of Leah Muhammad, and the death of your cousins, your brothers, with the violence that's going on here in America. And somebody asked me, Bishop, what would a politician do? And I want to tell you absolutely nothing. They're not trying to do nothing. They don't want to do nothing because they all right with what's going on. So tonight we're talking about what's happening with our politicians and what we take over. What I'm saying to you tonight, with the killings of Sandy Hook, with the killing in Dallas, with the constant killing in Chicago, in Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Detroit, Las Vegas, St. Paul, Minnesota, Indiana, Gary, Indiana, Indianapolis, Indiana, down in Florida. I'm talking about guns being shot, the guns on the streets of Chicago and our city, the gun violence that's happening all over America. They asked me, Diane, Bishop, what is the problem? The problem we got, the NRA have paid and bought America, from the president to the governor to the Congress to the Republican and Democrats. Now, the kids in Florida marching, that's a movement. Kids come out to school saying we don't want to be killed no more. And then with the rising of the drugs and the silence of the White House, the silence of Trump, and the White House is not saying nothing about the drug addiction that's going on, not only in the black community, in the white community, and all over this city and this country. We got a serious problem with drugs and guns. And I got to carry you back to Medgar Evers down in Mississippi was shot. I got to carry you back to Martin Luther King Jr. was shot. I got to carry you back to John F. Kennedy was shot. The violence have increased, that we have over a weekend 25, 35 shooters in one city. If you compare all them together, So we got 100 shooting in Chicago, 100 shooting in Detroit. That's 200 people right there. Another 100 in California. That's 300. Over the weekend. So we are killing each other by the hundreds of thousands. Your brothers, your sisters. Uh, and I ain't talking about black and white. It's more blacks being killed by blacks. And it's more whites being killed. And more white is on drugs and pills and crystal meth, and they got something called white elephant that when you touch it, it kills you. So it's a evil force out here in America, and I'm gonna tell you who doing it. The lawmakers who make the law. The lawmakers will not stop the guns. They talk about Trump talking about arm the teachers. The Congress went along with it. Uh, the states went along with it. What you gonna arm a teacher when she an educator? And I want to say something to you tonight. Why ain't nobody said shut the gun factory down? Men fought in Vietnam and Korea. You know what they used? They used them assault rifles. They got on the streets of Chicago, on the streets of Detroit, on the street of Ohio, on the street of Indiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana. The same guns that's on the streets of our city, but seem like the politicians so up in their head they can't get it together because they don't want to get it together. It's two things we got to do. We got to move them out, vote them out, get them out of office, and put some people in Washington to do what we say. Trump on his way out, and the politicians that will not do what the people say they on their way out. When the children, when they say, well, the white kids marching, it ain't a white kid or black kids thing. It's survival. And I want to tell you to write your congressman, call on the telephone, call the Washington, call your local city hall. In Flint, Michigan, the people still dying of contaminated water because the Republicans haven't did nothing in Flint, Michigan to clear up the water crisis. So all kind of ways people are being murdered in America. And you got to charge the government. You got to charge the people in charge. In Detroit, you got the governor, you got the mayor, and you got the city council. In Chicago, you got the mayor, city council, then you got down in Springfield, you got the governor that will not pass the gun bill. He vetoed it. So what that means? That means they don't care about your children being killed. All they want your kids to come to school and get that money. And here's some teachers with their ignorant self talking about, well, we want to arm ourselves. If you went to college to be a teacher, you didn't go to college to carry a gun into a school. Now, I want to say this to you that are listening. If they're going to bring teachers into your school with guns, we as parents need to talk about home teaching. Take your kids out of them school and teach them at home. And you ain't got to worry about nobody getting get your kids at home. We got to move to home teaching until the government and the state come to their senses and say, let's stop this gun violence. Let's stop these assault rifles that's going on. 400 people been killed in these schools and colleges, and another 10 to 20,000 been killed in the streets by illegal guns that's going on. Now I know somebody want to say something about that. Raise your hand. This is all lives matter. We're talking about your life and my life. You walk into the grocery store, you might get killed. A young man got shot today in a drive-by. He on the expressway coming from work. Somebody shot. So this is the evil that's going on. And who is the cause of all this evil going on? It's the NRA that paid money, millions all over every politician, most of them is being paid off. So they're not going to talk about gun laws. They're not going to talk about banning rifles. They didn't got paid. They didn't got $1 million. They would tell you to, we want to stop the ban. If you want to stop the ban of guns coming in, get rid of the assault rifles, and we can move forward. And I want to say that to you. Now, if you got something to say tonight about this, just press 1 on your phone. I want you to speak out what you think about the guns, what you think about home teaching, that you take your child and you teach him at home. You might save his life because the Congress and the Senate ain't about saving people's lives. They're about getting rich, fat cats getting rich. And ain't nobody saying nothing. Ain't nobody said Russia was at fault. What happened to the people that was poisoned? This country is just about being took over by Russia. Y'all better wake up. I'm talking about white folks better wake up. Y'all wanted Trump. Trump finna sell the city, the whole country to Russia. I want to say this. Now, you know, the Secretary of State got fired. He didn't know he got fired. Somebody said, what happened? He was in Africa. He was hugging black men, black leaders he was talking to. When Trump seen that, Trump called from his Air Force One and said, you're fired. That lets you know the whole demonstration is violence and racist. Rex Tillerson was fired because he was talking to Africans over in Africa. You notice when he come from Africa, before he could get back on American soil, he was fired. I know y'all ain't seen that. Racism, white supremacy is happening right here before your eyes, people. And the killing of our babies and our children, and the guns have let loose because big businessmen are getting rich. And politicians that the NRA paying for most of these politicians to run, they're not going to go against the NRA. Not Trump, not the Democrats, not the Republicans. All of them is playing hide and seek. They throw a rock and hide their hand, and I don't know what to do. What you need to do is ban the assault rifles, the AK-47s, and the machine guns. They fought with them over in Korea, over in Afghanistan, all over. You ask any soldier, ask him the gun he had when he was in war. 4 or 5 tiers of duty, and he find out that they can't ban it. What a gun doing on the streets of Chicago that they fighting in Afghanistan with? They fighting over in Korea with? They fighting in Vietnam with? What's wrong with you, ministers? What's wrong with you, rabbi? What's wrong with you, bishop, pope? What's wrong with you not calling out that our children being killed? All lives matter to God. It ain't a black and white issue. It's a issue of survival. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish but have everlasting. You got to get ready to speak out. Yeah, you got to begin to act on life. You got to begin to act on the pharmaceutical companies got Crunch Bunch from Washington to sell any kind of pills out there. They say, here's a pill, you can take it. It's going to give you a heart attack, and it might make you blind. What will you put a pill on the market that will make you blind, and you're going to take it, going to make you have a headache, and say, if you take it, you might die, consult your doctor. But they got it, you can go to Walgreens, and you go to Walmart, Walgreens, and CVS, and get it across the counter. This country is going to hell because people is not standing up talking about the evil that's going on in this country. And the children in school, it's a shame. The richest country in the world, the most greediest country in the world, letting death go on day in and day out. It's enough to make you sick. It's enough to wake you up. Y'all sleep. I'm trying to wake you up tonight. I'm trying to wake you up to Don't wait till it's your son, your daughter, your cousin that got shot. Somebody, and some of you right now, you got loved ones that been killed. You got some of them that OD'd and they got on drugs because they had a toothache and they got some pain pills and they got some cocaine and they got all kind of drugs that the doctor gave them to them. And when they got off that, they was junkies. And this is some of the stuff that's happening in our country. But I want to say peace. When John F. Kennedy, when Robert Kennedy, his son is running for governor of Illinois, his daddy died, was shot on his way to Chicago. I want to play this tape where his daddy was talking about Dr. King death. Right after Dr. King death, he was killed. Before Dr. King and his death, his brother was killed, who was John Kennedy. Okay. Now, what I'm telling you, that the violence been going on a long time. Behind the scene, been the NRA, and they very arrogant, and they very powerful, because they spend money. They put money to the lawmakers. Until we bring out the lawmakers and the mayors and the governors and the president that's taking that money. The president got money. They spread money all over Washington and do what they want to do. This is Robert Kennedy. I want you to listen to that. And I want you to think about the death of Dr. King, what you didn't know now, that you know who was behind it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm only going to talk to you just for a minute or so this evening because I have some very sad news for all of you, and I think sad news for all of our fellow citizens and people who love peace all over the world. And that is that Martin Luther King was shot and was killed tonight in Memphis. Martin Luther King dedicated his life to love and to justice between fellow human beings. He died in the cause of that effort. In this difficult day, in this difficult time for the United States, it's perhaps well to ask what kind of a nation we are and what direction we want to move in. For those of you who are black, considering the evidence evidently is that there were white people who were responsible, you can be filled with bitterness
and hate,
and with hatred, and a desire falls drop by drop upon the heart, until in our own despair, against our will, comes wisdom through the awful grace of God. What we need in the United States is not division. What we need in the United States is not hatred. What we need in the United States is not violence and lawlessness, but is love and wisdom and compassion toward one another.
That was Robert Kennedy talking about the death of Martin Luther King. And the Congress never did do nothing. They never did find out who really killed Dr. King. They didn't really find out who killed Robert Kennedy or Ted Kennedy. They didn't really find out who killed Malcolm X. They didn't really find out who killed your son, your daughter. Maybe the kid had the gun, but how he got a .357 Magnum? How did he get a pistol to carry to school to shoot the young lady? Where did he get the gun from to shoot in your house? How can a 16-year-old get an AK-47 rifle? An 18-year-old get an assault rifle across the counter and come back and shoot up 17? How can a man smuggle 10 or 12 AK-47 into a hotel and kill 58 people Who is the cause of that? The blood of all those people is lie on Washington. The blood of the murders this year is on those lawmakers, the Democrats and the Republicans and the president, and in these cities and these states, the governors and the mayor. The blood is on their hands. And long as the blood ain't God gonna deal with them. I want to say to you tonight, I know some of you upset, but if your kid going to school, think about homeschooling your kid. Yes, that's your little grandbaby. That's your son. So I'm going to teach him at home because y'all, I don't want no teacher in the classroom with a gun because when the killers come in to shoot, the first thing they're going to shoot the teacher that got the gun. And the teacher might get upset and kill everybody in the classroom because they do get sick too. We got a lot of middle ear people that are sick out here, and they don't need to have access to a gun. Now I was talking to Sister Diane, talking to Prophet Lorraine, and they were saying all the people are saying we don't need guns in our school. If it's got to go to that you need gun in your school, go to the board of education and say I want to homeschool my kid. Why? Because y'all finna bring guns in. Y'all can't stop uh, guns. If you can't stop guns, you can't educate the children. And that's a real serious thing. Uh, I want you to read St. John 14 and 27. I want you to have peace. And I also want you to read where you can have the power of God, Philippians 4:13. And I want you to be free to let God move with you, John 8 and 36. And I want you to read 1 John 1 and 7. And I want you to get ready for your financial blessing. Luke 6:38, shake down, press God. God's going to give you a financial blessing, and God's going to help you out. And then you want to accept the miracle that God got for you tonight, because all lives matter to God. And wherever you might be, you're not exempt from the violence because the guns is out here. In a couple of cases here in Chicago, kids 2, 3 years old got a gun, shot the other kid. Why is so many guns? Why is society bent on kill, kill, kill? That's the sad part. And I don't hear the church saying anything, and I don't see the church coming outside its walls. They have revivals and all kind of annual days, pastor anniversary, the choir anniversary. Why not that same energy that go in the street and say stop the killing, save the babies, and take these guns off the street? Okay, that's important. Got to do, and it's very important to know that there's so many guns out in the street. You can buy guns before you can go get some groceries. You can buy guns and dope in every city, in every ghetto. You can buy guns and dope. Like, and I'm saying in Mississippi now, there's a lot of crystal meth, lots of chemical drugs are being made in these colleges and put on the street, and there's lots of people being killed about that, and that's very important. Now, if you have something to say tonight, I want you to say something about all lives matter. Maybe you know somebody got killed, you know somebody got shot. I'm praying tonight for the King family up in Minnesota. Daddy King passed. He was a Vietnam veteran, and he always talked about so many guns in these streets. St. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. You got to believe in God and have the faith that God will give you a solution to the problem. The kids that's marching in these colleges and schools, they saying we're tired of dying. And we got grown people that is so interwoven in the system, they won't say, No, don't make no more guns. Don't make no more rifles like that. I got Sister Diane down in Canton. Diane, I'm gonna go to her. Maybe she has something to say, and maybe Sister Hawking got something to say. Sister Diane, God bless you tonight. What you have to say about this situation? See, and when you got something to say, things will open up for you, and things will work for you. Sometimes you got to tell people what's going on where you know how to deal with some of this violence that's going on in our country and what's happening with our people. Now, I want you to get ready for God to bless you tonight. All lives matter to God. And those that are looking for a blessing, I want you to get ready. And if you got a need, you plant a seed. And when you plant a seed, you're going to get a breakthrough. Some of you all caught up, and you so caught up. See, all the silver, all the gold belongs to God. And all the money you can get don't mean nothing if you're not helping people. Dr. King said that in his speech about how greedy people is, that they don't look out for others. They just look out for themselves. They don't look out for nobody else. But it's a shame that the killings that's going on in America, this is the richest country in the world, and they're still killing children. And I want to say to you that got children, take your children out of school and tell the system, since y'all gonna bring teachers with guns in the school, I'm gonna home teach my kids. If the kids say they don't want no guns in the school and they marching and the grown people like down in Florida, the governor didn't okay no bill. He talking about he gonna get bump stop. We don't want no bump stop. We want all the guns off the street, all the machine guns off the street. Them the guns that they shot in Vietnam, in Korea. Them the guns were used there. So we want them. We want to ban them guns. But it seems like